wear those, strange looking glasses, like make me look like Morpheus. Do you know Morpheus from Matrix?
Yeah,
Matrix.
yeah, I know.
Okay, Gideon, you have to choose between the red pill or the blue pill. What do you think?
The red pill.
The red pill. Let's go. we're gonna take down the system. Okay, guys, everybody watching, thank you very much for being with us today. Is a good day. It's a great day with the Gideon from. Am I pronouncing your name good? Is it Gideon or Gideon?
Gideon.
Gideon. Is it like a Bantu? It's a Bantu. I forget the. What is the origin of your name?
Actually, it's a British name. A British name, like mixed with local culture, because my name is MACHAVA and my surname is quite local. So, like, Mozambique was colonized by the Portuguese, like the official language is Portuguese, but like strangely, my name is British.
Wow, that's a big mixture, and for that, be talking about this strange mixture of your homeland of Mozambique. So first of all, thank you very much for accepting to be our guest. We're gonna have a quick minute to fetch the link, so people are gonna join us here and there. Okay, I'm gonna fetch the link in. How late is it in your city?
How what? Sorry.
How late is it right now in are you in Maputo or the different city?
Yes. On the last few years, I live in South Africa. So like I officially live in South Africa now, but I'm currently in Maputo. Like in South Africa, I live in Pretoria. But yeah, like I had to move back home due to the coronavirus situation and with everything else that's happening in the world. So like because of the quarantine, I'd rather take the quarantine time with my family.
Okay, I see that. Yeah. So what do you prefer? Would you prefer Mozambique or South Africa?
I think myself more like a citizen of the world, to be honest. I don't have a country that feels like home. I think the world feels like home for me. So I had that realization in February when I did the tour in Europe. So I went to Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, and like for me, it feels natural to not have a country per se. So like I think still soon to specify where I feel better, like a few more citizens in the world.
Yeah, no, that that Mozambique is very close from cultural. They have cultural ties with Mozambique. Am I wrong or right?
Mozambique.
They have a lot of Mozambique and South Africa.
You have what?
You have a lot of relationship. You have a lot of ties together.
Yes. Like actually driving from Mozambique to the nearest border in South Africa takes about an hour and a half. So, and like from Mozambique, from Maputo to Pretoria, where I live, it's about like 6 hours driving. So sometimes feels like the economy of the countries are quite different. So the reality is quite shocking, but it's like 2 hours, like 4 hours away.
Wow, that's nothing.
Yeah, it is like literally nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Oh, it's a very common. It's like Tunisia and Algeria. It's easy to go in and out because it's very close. And I did send the links to all the groups and the social media we have, and they're ready to go. First of all, again, thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm really a fan of your design. I see you have great, really, very nice website that is worth telling about.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, it's for those. It's really nice, and I like how it's really it has a press kit. You start, and you have a CV to download and everything, and you have the links for Medium and LinkedIn, and you have a podcast as well. And
Yeah.
so it's really nice, design for biography. It's like a business card, online business card. Here and here the blog.
Yeah. I mostly write in Portuguese. Like most of the articles that are there in Portuguese. Actually, I do have like few articles in English published on UX Collective also.
My connection is a bit slow. I don't know what happens. Anyway, it's there. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, looks like yes, this is it's in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So yeah, this looks like a train or a bus. I don't know.
Actually, it's a train. I took that when I was traveling from Milan to Rome.
Oh, okay. So how hard it is for you to talk, Italian?
Because like Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese, they coming from Latin. So like we have a lot of similarities in terms of words. It's harder to speak Italian than Spanish. But yeah, I could survive in both countries like quite well.
Okay. So if you can tell us a little about Mozambique.
Okay, so like Mozambique is the country localized in southern Africa. So like as most of the countries in southern Africa, we are in the winter now, so it's cold, but it's not colder than in South Africa. So like South Africa, we can have about 5 degrees Celsius, like right now, which can be really really cold. Is most of the countries in southern Europe have similar weather in the winter also. So like South Africa have something quite similar on that regard. So like on Mozambique, it's kind of hotter than South Africa. So it's a cool, a really really nice place to be, even in winter. Like most of our weather during the year is tropical. So and we have a really beautiful beaches. So I bet that we probably have one of the most beautiful beaches in the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So and like seafood, we have a lot of seafood. Like a lot of people who travel to Mozambique get amazed with the quantity and the quality of seafood that we have. So if you could compare, like there is other countries that can compete with Mozambique, like in terms of seafood, like Tanzania and Kenya, because of the Indian Ocean. But Mozambique, I can't tell you exactly why, but like it seems like our coasts have like the better quality in terms of seafood according to research. So like Mozambique is definitely one of the best postal card to eat seafood.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm quite sure that Tunisians they like to see to taste this seafood because we are a country that likes seafood.
Really?
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So I was going to tell you about the food, but you did reply to the question before I even ask about it. What is the national food in Mozambique?
Is chicken paprika.
Chicken paprika. That's the Indian.
Yes and no. So yeah, because the chili was inspired by the Indian culture, but the way we prepare it's a very Mozambican. So there is a restaurant in South Africa called Nando's, and the chicken paprika is one of the most famous dishes there. So they sell a lot, and that is a traditional Mozambican food. Like our chicken, you only find in Mozambique. You have to come here.
Wow, amazing. So that's amazing.
Sorry, I think I'm losing you.
No, the microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you now.
Excellent. Okay. Without further ado, let's say The stage is yours, Guidione. You are going to enlighten us today how Africa, our continent, is going to lead the world in UX design.
Definitely. Like I can't guarantee that we will, but we can.
Okay, hold on, please.
Okay.
So the stage is yours. Enlighten us, with how we can go as far as this.
Okay, so so when where the inspiration from Africa as the next destination from like the next destination of like for design talent sourcing come from. So I remember I was traveling from South Africa to Mozambique like by bus during the night, and I remember seeing a big outdoor, like on the outdoor they have like phrase written there like Italian brand. No, it was an Italian car. I was like, wow, Italy is so good that the country itself is a brand. I said to myself, I wish my country was like that, or I wish like my continent was like that. I could say something like African car, or like an African designer, or a Mozambican designer, and people could feel the same, like could feel the same feeling that they have like about Italy. So like because of that, I started researching. So end up learning a bit about story. So end up learning about companies like Sony, example, like Japan, before Sony emerged with really great like tech products. Like Japan was seen like a country who produced like really cheap and bad quality like products. But the CEO of Sony had a mission for himself that said, you know what, I believe that we can change the way the people see Japan. So we can like really produce like world class quality like hardware. So when like Sony started to work on that direction, so guess what happened? Like the way that we see like Japanese products completely changed because one person decided that I want to change the way people see my country. So it happened the same in China with Huawei, with Huawei and Xiaomi. But like I think like Xiaomi, he is one of the best example. So China also has like have been seen by the world as a country that produce like really cheap and bad quality hardware. And the people from Xiaomi had that in mind, so they start building a software around the Android system, and the company growth like start building hardware so they like now they can build a really good quality like mobile phone, and the line of products like can go from speakers to fans and a lot of other stuff like it's a really good quality. So like our perception of products coming from China is kind of changing. And guess what? The things happening like in Europe with countries like France and Italy. So if you name Lamborghini, Ferrari, and other very luxury brands, guess which country they're coming from? Italy. Guess why? Because someone in Italy decided that they want to make the country like a reference and producing a really high quality like cars. And the same happened in France. If you say Louis Vuitton, like brands like Louis Vuitton, and like other luxury brands that I can't recall them all them now. They come from France, and you ask why these really good quality brands come from France? Because like after when other countries like England and Portugal and Spain was like deciding on splitting the and conquering the world, like France knew that they couldn't compete with the same strength as the other countries, and like a group of people decided to transform the industry in France. So they said, instead of competing on trying to conquer other countries, let's try to create an industry that can manufacture everything that people are bringing to Europe. And like slowly France started building like big manufacturing industry where it could process large quantity of products. And the result was like a really good understanding of how to produce a really good and quality products. So that's why like if you talk about luxury and elegance, you know it's coming from France. So like after doing that research, I said to myself, you know what? We can do the same for Africa. If a group of people sit down and decide to change the image of their country on a specific area, we can do that for Africa also. Like and on the beginning, I wasn't like 100% like secure about starting or taking this approach. But one of my mentors said me one time that a culture starts with one person. So I was like, so I kind of changed my perspective. Instead of trying to wait for someone to do it, I decided to like do it myself. So like I've so written down. So how can I transform Africa into the next destination hub to design talent sourcing? So like basically my goal was trying to understand what exactly I would have to do. So is where it comes to like my presentation that I have here share with you today. One second. Okay. Okay, it jumped.
Okay, I remind people that a good designer has at least two monitors.
Okay.
how many monitors do you have in total?
Like in total, actually I have three,
Mm.
but I'm
Wow,
using two.
three. Okay,
Yes.
let me guess. 24 inches.
21, 27, and 121.
Wow, 27. Wow. I have two. I have 22 and 24.
See? As I was saying, like for me, like to take my approach and trying to see how I could transform Africa into the next destination hub for design talent sourcing, I have to like have a clear statement like defining the problem. So basically what we have is a huge gap in the market regarding design professionals. And we've required exposure to international skills to lead and provide world-class solutions to the industry. So, like a really good world-class quality education, it lacks when we talk about design in Africa. It's even hard for me to tell like 5 schools from South Africa alone that teach design alone. So you won't find like and you have to know like South Africa is on the top 3 of the most advanced countries in Africa. So it's a scary reality. So like for me was okay, if like design professional with like world class skills is a problem, maybe is the place that we should start focus on starting with like solving the problem. Probably we like people that are like statistics fanboy knows that like the working age in Africa, like on the next 5 and 10 years, is gonna be bigger than any other continent combined. So like the
Yeah.
working class, it's in Africa. So if you start like seeing things on my perspective, you're gonna see like okay, so we have like a big number in terms of working class people like coming from Africa, and we just need to educate those people. So we have the human resource. So the problem, the thing that is lacking is the part of the education. So like what I thought like would be the solution, an initiative that would recruit, train, and outsource design talent, providing a learning and collaborative platform with international standards and content. And remember, this is like an idea, like for me. So how can I go from a problem to a solution? So how this would work? So basically,
So, so, sorry again. So, do you think that South Africa has a major role in like leading this, or is it?
so like one thing that I've learned, like on the past 3 years, I've been working as community builders beside of designers. So I am the
Mm,
head of community of Lepta developers. So at
mhm.
Lepta, we have like I've managed to expand the community from inception to like 6 countries and 11 cities in Africa. So that gave me like a big exposure in terms of how like Africa like tech and design community works. So I work closely with developers from Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana. So like for me it's really hard to think about South Africa alone. That's why I would rather think about like Africa, because I don't think there is a country that can play a major role on this, because like with the new world, like the digital world, we have no borders. So I don't think it's a one country's responsibility, like on that. So it's
Okay.
not about, like, I don't see this as a South African responsibility or a Mozambican responsibility. I see like citizen of the world, citizen of Africans, like responsibility. So how can we get together and merge strength and trying to make things like this happen?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Still on my thought process, like what I started like thinking was, what would be the next is trying to like creating a solution like around the public needs. So the platform, like we should be framed around, is basically one of the first steps in the user experience or user research process, where you're gonna have to understand how your users work. Example, trying to dig deep into like the real situation that African designers are into, like situations like people there are really talented like designers that don't even have a laptop, or
Mhm.
don't have like a really good internet connection, or don't speak English fluently, and like trying to create solutions around that. Because if you say, there is a lot of content online on the internet that you can learn to become a good designer, and the person says, you know what, I don't even know, I don't even have a computer. But if you talk to the person, you can actually feel that you can become a really good designer if you have the good instruments. So like for me, well, the first step would be like trying to create a solution around the public needs, not going to the privileged people that already have a really good internet connection, really have a laptops, but trying to focus on talent rather than resources. I think that would be like the first and the most important like steps on that regard.
Okay.
Okay. So like the second step basically would be value of information for informational integration. So uh, so like there is a lot of content on the internet. If you go to Interaction Design Foundation, they have one of the best content about design online that I ever found. I can like okay, this is sounds like a promotion, but I'm not promoting them. But the content is really, really good. And if you go to like Udemy, you're gonna find like a really good exercises. But if you go to Coursera, you're gonna find like a balance between both. And if you go to Udacity, you have a really good nano degree. I was like, what if we create a program that integrates all of these curriculum? And if you go to a school, to a design school, they're gonna teach you like the basics. Like actually, like something funny about design school, because I enrolled last year in to do like my honors in like user experience design, because my official background is in economics. Like I'm an economist, like by education. So like one of the things that I've learned last year, like during design school, is they don't teach you how to design; they teach you how to think. So this is a really important step. So if you could like create a framework that integrates all the content that we have available, will be the second step, and the second most important like step. And the third step will be the principle of dematerialization. So is related to the question that you ask. Do you think that South Africa have a role to play? I don't think South Africa has a role to play. I think Africa and the world have a role to play. So it's to make this like education accessible to all Africans, like trying to remove walls, and like I'm trying to make all this process practical, not having there is a school in France like founded by a famous billionaire, and that was an actually moved to US in Silicon Valley. It's called 42 or 41, I'm not sure about the name. So basically, and there is a school in South Africa called Within Code, which is inspired on that school in France. So basically it's a school without teachers, so they have all the content, and they tell people, you know what, teach yourself, and teach your peers. So it's a peer-to-peer education basically, and I believe that that might be the future. And like more than that, more than doing a peer-to-peer education, that the second thing that we could do is trying to like merge like the theoretical framework and the practical framework, because we all know that with theory, almost no one learns nothing. So it will be like a approach more like learn about doing. So I would love to be able to integrate that. So like the skills that we be like teaching will be like more problem solving, and problem finding and problem solving, teaching design thinking, like interviewing and empathy, which is basically like the mostly of the research steps. Trying to teach people to work in collaboration, like teamwork, it's really, really important. It's a skill that almost no one teaches you. So when you land in a job and people expect you to know how to collaborate or how to work in a team, or they expect you to know how to communicate, so like I think that that is the really important step. Example, people don't even teach you how to write an email. They assume that you have to know that. Which part in your curriculum? I'm not sure when you finish school, Karim, but do you remember they teaching you to send an email, to write an email?
Never.
Yes. So like, and when you land in a job, they assume that you know that, and you don't know, but you have to learn. So imagine if you could learn that like while studying, and like learn communicate, learn collaborate, and like prototyping building. Uh, so like basically trying to merge all these things together and trying to build like the foundation that what would like probably build be the formula to transform Africa into the next destination hub to like design talent sourcing. Because like those words are not mine. So they say that education is a truly one of the most powerful instruments for reducing poverty, inequality, and it sets the foundation for sustainable economic growth. So this comes back to our continent. So like by solving these small problems, we'll be able to take like our continent forward. So like, and for me, why I put like why I decide to focus on design talent sourcing, like for two reasons specifically. First of all, for currencies difference. If you work for American or European company, you're gonna be like being paid in euros or in dollars. That means that you're gonna be able to afford a better quality life for yourself. And guess what's happened to someone who has a better quality life? Like everyone surrounds him end up having a better quality life. So it have like a progressive effect. If Kareem have a better like quality life, your wife is gonna have a better quality life. Your kids and probably the cousin, probably the person who works with you, you're gonna be able to pay a better salary. And like, and without noticing, we're gonna start kind of building a better like economic country back starting with one person and two person and three, and then we have like three people like doing the same. Like that is the reason number one. The reason number two is because Africa is going to become one of the biggest like source of manpower in the future, because like our working age is the like in statistic is the biggest like in all with all other continents combined. So like that's why we have the sourcing part of the thing, but also we have like having the in mind that while we are outsourcing our talent, we actually are building intellectual capital. So we're going to be exporting intellectual capital, but this intellectual capital are in Africa. So taxes are paid in Africa, and then that talent in Africa. So if that person decides to leave the initiative, is going to like create a company based in Africa. So we start like creating like value for our own our own continent. So like this is my master plan to transform Africa into the next destination hub for design talent sourcing. So do you have any questions, Karim? Karim?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, yeah. There was a small issue with the internet. Now it's back fine.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. No, I was saying like this is the basically the master plan on how we can transform Africa into the next destination of design talent sourcing. So trying to build these foundations. So
Okay.
I was
So
asking, do you have, yes? No, I was
I
asking,
have
do
a
you have
question,
any
very
questions
important.
regarding that?
Say again, please.
Do you have questions regarding that?
Yeah, I have very important question regarding that you didn't really tell about, the language gap, because I know that, from your region, yeah, most of the countries are, speaking English, and
Yes.
from our region, most of the countries that are speaking French, and like people like Ghana or Mozambique, they speaking Portuguese, and so how do you think, we're gonna solve this issue?
Okay, I think one of the biggest challenges that we have here, as you said, and you 100% right, is the language. So I started a podcast. It's called World Class Designer, and I interview people that I believe are world class designers on their field. So basically, still aligned with my personal mission, like which is transforming Africa into the next destination, like of design talent sourcing. So, like my first language, as you know, is Portuguese. But even though I decided to do like my podcast in English, so we all know, like by fact, that English is the business language of the world. So I had to force myself, even though I could speak Portuguese, to do my interviews in English. So the first step that we will have to do is to accept that the dominance that the English have in the world and have to teach people to speak and communicate fluently in English.
Yeah, I totally agree about that. I totally agree with that. But even though there is there is a big deal of the French in major part of Africa.
Sorry?
I say there is a lot of most of the countries in Africa they speak French.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a double challenge how to educate them and how to educate them to to use and speak English.
Yeah, I see. Like you're like 100% correct. Yeah. So, but as you may know, I don't have all the answers. So that is a really good question. So considering French as part of the curriculum might be one of the solution. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
why I think that I think we should be using both. You know, also some bit of education in Africa.
yeah, Karim is breaking a lot. I'm not sure if it's mic.
I said, we can use both French and English.
Definitely, definitely. That's an
I
idea
mean,
that I fully agree. That's an idea that I totally agree with. Using the both language mode might be like the right step. Okay, seems that we lost Karim. Uh, I'm not sure if we have questions from the audience, but Karim will tell us just now. Yes, Karim, you're back.
yeah, we don't have any question. Yeah, I think that people with because there is no more lockdown in Tunisia since are most to go out. So thank you very much for this brainstorming that you did share with us. It looks promising. It's really a bright idea for the future. So this is challenging because the classic schools of design, they're gonna teach you how maybe to design some graphic designs or some house. What kind of school of design you wish for? What kind of style of school of design? Is it something that more architecture, something more artistic, or something I don't know. It's up to you to tell us.
I think it's more like I believe on the there is a phrase called the skin on the game, quoted by
Mm.
Nassim Taleb. I truly believe that approach, like an approach where we teach people by doing, and instead of trying to use like old laws we should like try to do things ourselves and trying to define ourselves things in that way. So I believe in more practical approach, like more skin on the game approach. So if you could merge practical
Yeah.
and the theory, that would be great. That would be fantastic. Like one of the reasons, like that, when I was studying economics on the second year, I felt so frustrated because I felt that was a field that I couldn't add much. But like on the other side, I started reading to code. Like with code, like you can build an app, you can build a new language. So there is like a really big space for innovation. But like social science, and on social science you don't have that. So if you could make like design more like uh, like uh, like code, like to become more like code, where we just have to have an idea and the right tools, and you can build something completely new. Will be like a game changers that will change the world or will make things better. So if we could take part of that thing that code has that can like reshape the world like entirely. Example, in no way like people will be able to like create a new currency without the internet. Like, but we do have like the Bitcoin, so it completely transformed the economic system. So like I believe the internet and the ability to code or to program give that the chance. I think like the internet make things like not 100% demographic like democratic, but it gives power to the people again, so that we can have like we are able to reinforce and reshape things. So like, and you only can
Mhm.
be able to do that with the skin on the game, and skin on the game means learn by doing, trying to merge like theory and practice.
And again, it is the same issue. There are two schools: the classic French school that is meant that they're going to learn things and learn things that you're going to use. It's really classic. It's more academic. And there is the new English American school, which is teach by learning and so on. It's more experimental, more This is one of the things right now is the countries speaking in French.
Okay.
That they have to stick with diplomas given after studies. That studies are really classic. So,
Okay.
and you are thinking big, you are thinking about learning, design thinking, and stuff like that. So it's a double challenge again.
Yeah, I
That's
believe,
what
but yeah.
yeah. That's why I was thinking about the leading role of South Africa as and the region, the whole region, as a leading a hub for the South Africa.
Okay, I see. Nice. I see why you
And
asking.
did you know? Yeah, did you know that most, at the exception of Tunisia, most of Egypt in English countries.
Sorry, it's bringing a lot from your side, Kareem. You're saying most of the what?
Sorry, I say that most of the XDR chapters are
Yeah.
located in English-speaking countries.
Yes. Yes. So probably that is a challenge for
Yes,
you.
yesterday we did have an event about failure. I don't know if you know Fuck Up Nights. Fuck Up
Yeah.
Nights is an event that is held beside Tunisia and Cote d'Ivoire. All the other countries were English-speaking countries. Again, that's explains a lot. Think about that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice perspective to have. It's a completely different perspective. But you're gonna have to start from somewhere.
Maybe Mozambique.
But again, like,
Okay,
not necessarily Mozambique, but Southern Africa, the speaking English part.
okay. I have another question. so we can sort it out. Okay, if I am like in high school or I am a student in LA, and I want to know what are the five design skills I have to learn to make myself a better designer.
Okay. That's a really curious question. This is a really, really curious question because, like, on my interviews, actually, what I ask, like, my interviews. So I've created this model called like questions to your younger self. Basically, interviewing senior designers is asking if you were like 10 years younger, what would you tell? What you wouldn't tell your younger self about design? And like I believe that I've collected like a few lessons. So one of the most important skills that I will tell that a designer has to have is curiosity, uh, because a lot of things change, like on our space. Like one day you have, uh, one day you have, like you can also open the UX collective articles if you click on Medium. If you go to my website and see the Medium link, you will see most of the articles. So, like, but as I was saying, like, curiosity, I think is one of the most important. The number one skill. Like, the number two will be discipline. It's really important to have discipline. The number three will have like a ability to work in teams, like basically collaboration, like being able to communicate effectively and properly. The number four, I would say the number four. It's like having it's not necessarily a skill, but having a mentor, it helps a lot. So having people that you aspire to be like. And number five, I don't think is the last important, is have connection. Because you can have like the previous tools that I've just mentioned, but without a proper connection, if you don't know the right people, that can be meaningless. So yeah, that's the five things that I would tell people to focus on.
Okay. So again, the five, if you can repeat them real quick.
Sorry?
If you can repeat quick, if you can repeat the five skills again real quick.
The first one is curiosity. The second one is discipline. The third one is, I don't remember. Like the third one is okay. Like I know the number five is finding a mentor. Number four is finding a mentor. Number five is networking. I don't remember number four. Like in order.
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I did see that you are, no problem, that you are making a lot of very nice, good-looking designs, and it's from the graphic design to web design, which is So tell me, how is the UX helping you become a better designer?
So how UX may help us become a better designer? So like so
No,
one thing
how UX is how UX is helping you to become a better designer?
Okay, one important thing that a lot of like junior designers or younger designers have to know, that you don't have to be a one person show. Like design field is really broad, it's really big. You can be really good on research and really bad on design or web design. You can be like a good on design. Like I was saying, like you can check also the Medium, like the link to Medium. You'll find a really good articles there. The link on the page is the last one after LinkedIn. Yeah, like you can be like a really good at visual design, a better like a really like not so good researcher. You can be like a really good graphic design, not so good UI designer. So like the most important thing is people have to know that they don't have to know everything. Like if you know that you don't have to know everything, you have to know what you know well. And after knowing that, you have to find people that can help you with the things that you don't know. So as you can see, like there is this article, learning to code, making you a better designer. Like I even have the opportunity to interview the global head of design of IDEO, Adam Reinick, like for this.
What? Yeah, amazing. You know, you did have the chance to talk to a lot of very I say very high profiles. How do you do that?
So like I think it's one of the things that I said, your network is really important. So how you build your network, and you don't have to start big, like few steps, like baby steps, like knowing like designers in your area, and knowing designers in your province, and then in your country, and then in the neighbor country, so the list grows like that way, like baby steps.
Thanks to the magic of internet.
Yeah, definitely with the internet.
And
Like there is yes.
and please remind people that the internet is not about Facebook and clicking on like and sharing stupid cat things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, like I believe that like with my
sorry. So you basically send an email to those people and they respond and you did have an interview with them, knowing those people are very high profiles, but it happens that you did try and you did succeed. So let me ask you the question: how many people did you get in touch or try to contact and didn't have nothing back? Did you hear me? Hello, can you hear me now?
So I use the 5% rule. Like the 5% sorry, 5% rule now, the 10% rule. So the 10% rule says that like on your plan at least 10% will work. So if you're planning to interview Yes, it was breaking a bit, but yeah, I can hear you.
No, it's okay. I said it's okay.
Yeah, like a rainbow. Yes. I was saying I use the 10% rule. Like the 10% rule says that in your plan at least 10% it will work. So if you're planning to talk to 10 people, it means that you have to reach like 100 people.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's inspiring for the people who think that reaching out or doing podcasts with celebrities is really limited to people who are journalists or fame people. But sorry, today the connection was so bad. Now? Can you hear me now?
Like it's breaking.
I can hear. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Just
yeah. So like basically, what I use is the 10% rule. So never get disappointed. Your plan, at least 10% of it will work always.
Great, and as you being part of EXD Maputo, does that help for the network or not? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay, I said, you being part of the XDA network, does that help you for your mission or not?
Sorry?
Being part of the EXDA network, does that? Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay, seems like a lot for him. It seems like internet is being a challenge in his side, so probably it's going to be back
Okay,
now.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, Karim.
Excellent. So, remind me, you are in XDA Maputo.
Yes.
Is that right?
I'm the founder of
Does
Guidione.
that help you in your mission to connect with the people?
Not necessarily. Probably because I never tried to use the network per se. Because one of the things that I do, like I believe in authenticity. Like I
Authenticity.
only interview, yeah, I only interview people that which they work I truly admire. So, like I have to believe in what I'm trying to achieve. So like I only approach designers that have like seen conference example. Do you know Abstract is a version control tool for designers?
Sorry, say again.
Abstract, do you know Abstract?
Yes, yes.
Do you know Abstract? It's a version control tool for designers. Do you know it?
No, not yet. If you can share with us on the screen.
Okay, so like, okay, so basically, I saw like they had a design presentation on the internet, and I really loved the presentation. And what I've done is just try to reach him, like, and I was 100% honest about my what I was saying. That I love the work they were doing, like I love his presentation, and I would like to connect. And he replied, and we become connected. So I did the same with other people. So I have to be like 100% honest with what I'm doing for it to work.
Okay, makes sense. So my last question, if you can hear me now, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
My last question is: do you believe in some kind of common education program, or let's say, that can unite Africa around design, and how?
Uh, yeah, that's a tough one. Uh, like like unite, it's like union is very tricky because union means that you need a leader. So like I was reading a book which the title is the future is Asian, and one of the biggest takeaways of the book was you're not gonna have like United Nation of Asia, because for that to happen it means that you're gonna have one leader, and in Asia they fight a lot. Like it's hard to see China overruling Japan, or so North Korea, or India. So it's a tricky position to be. So like yeah, that is the book, really good one. And like I think it's the same for Africa. Like union, as again as I said, is very tricky because union means that you need one leader and one voice. But I think we can create multiple communities that can lead the change.
Okay, that's tricky. Well, that's, sometimes I ask myself, what is the role of the African, uh, the African, summit what is the role of the African Development Bank?
Okay.
And I can't find answers. I can't find, like right now, we are in the same continent. You are in Mozambique, I'm in Tunisia. We share like colonial history. We share a lot of other stuff, but we are not working together on anything.
Okay.
I'm working with a project with the friends, rather than working project, with someone who's in Africa. We have this kind of, I don't know, this kind of being always looking for to go up. Instead of reuniting with people who have the same values and the same history as our nation.
Yeah, I see. Like that's a really big problem that we have.
Okay, it's a matter of discussion. It's a really interesting brainstorming. It's but let me let. Yes, please go ahead.
That can
Please.
be the topic for our next meetup. The Africa UX Africa.
Yes, we. Yeah, please write it down. Write it down. I'm someone who always, I'm someone who forgets stuff. So write it down. Let's make it this topic for the next US Africa, which is going to happen in a few weeks, and it's a part of paving the way to the XZD happening in September, and everybody's having. Yeah, this brainstorming was really productive.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the invite, Karim.
Yeah, and in this next meetup, I'm gonna, the next meetup won't be any use if we don't, there is no output to help us work in a common project.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good approach.
Okay, Guidione, thank you very much. It has been one of the best brainstormings we did have in this cafe. I'm really surprised. I'm really admiring your blog, your personality, your biography, your work. You seem to be the next rising star in the African UX UI design Africa. So I'm really happy that I think this is going to be the last online meetup before the summer vacations. And as I said, the finish was really majestic. Thanks to you. Okay. Thank you again. And see you back there in WhatsApp to work on the next.
Thank you, Karim, for your kind words.
Gonna be working on the next UX.
Thanks, I really appreciate.
You're welcome anytime. You're welcome. Again, you have to visit his podcast. It's a very interesting podcast, and everything is on the website. I'm gonna for sure listen.
African yeah.
African meetups, yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you again, Guidione, and I think it's about time. I'm really grateful that you did this. Your presentation was really,
Cool.
very majestic. Cool. See you next time, very soon. Okay. Now you can turn off your second monitor.
Thanks, Karim. Thanks. Appreciate. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Ciao.